Because I haven't been doing YouTube videos for all that long, there's a few games out now that are beginning to erupt out of the service from a few years back. One of them, which is a title that I really am kicking myself that I didn't smell earlier, is a title called Witchfire. And before I had even read anything, I just got to watch the trailer and was just blown away because a lot of nostalgia just suddenly hit me from my childhood. And that was because when I started watching it, I was suddenly reminded by all the hours that I used to put into Painkiller. And lo and behold, to my absolute joy and pleasure, when I found out the astronauts were also the co-owners of People Can Fly, but more importantly, they were the creative leads behind the shooters Painkiller and Bulletstorm. And then everything made sense. The thematics, the movement, and even just the general colorization of the weapon models and the enemies you were fighting. It all had that Painkiller vibe to it. So I'm quite excited to tell people about this one because, as I say, Painkiller was a big part of my childhood, and it's really great that there's another opportunity for people to kind of enjoy the things that I did when I was younger. Anyway, I drivel on way too much. Witchfire, what is it all about? Well, if I was to describe it in a nutshell from the, little bits of gameplay that we've got so far, it's like a marriage between Serious Sam and Van Helsing. From the little we've seen, you get quite a good idea of how the gameplay's gonna work. The combat is fast, the enemies are mobile, and there's lots of them. On top of that, there's also an abundance of weapons for you to use to fight your way through the levels, and even though they've not showcased it yet, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few abilities in there to make things interesting as well. The game is made in Unreal 4 and looks absolutely beautiful. It's got those dark huey browns that you associate with those old school horror novels, and there's an absolute abundance of undead which all seem to have this nice sheeny glowy effect to them, which adds a nice kind of stylism. And if you look a little bit closer, you can almost detect vibes of Castle Wolfenstein in there as well. In the more recent gameplay footage, you get to see more of the weapons that they're looking to put in there. Originally they were just showcasing the revolver and some submachine gun style weapon, but now they've implemented the rifle as well. And they have this really nice old school Victorian-esque vibe to them, which, I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit of a sucker for kind of Van Helsing-esque weapons, but I like that kind of old school stylism to them. I'm also a big fan of the Borderlands series, so when I saw the enemies being shot and showering loot everywhere, it kind of ticked that ARPG element for me. They've also shown some of the bosses as well, or at least one of them in the forest. He's this big bad face creature with a huge bum, and you kind of have to shoot off his little minions while you're fighting him, and he's firing this giant laser kind of face cannon at you. But yeah, as you can gather, I am very, very excited for this. I know I keep talking about all these different games that it seems to be kind of giving elements of, but I'm also picking up elements of Dark Souls in there as well. And if you think I'm crazy and asking yourself, well, Dom, how can it be doing all these things at the same time? I don't know. I'm not a game developer. They've certainly nailed it, and it's doing it very effectively at the moment. I did notice that the weapons have damage numbers over them as well, so I'm guessing that you get different versions of them, or you're able to upgrade the damage that they do at a later date, kind of hinting that you'll probably get better weapons as you go along, or at least you have to put investment into some sort of custom tree to kind of change the way that your playstyles are going to work. Now, in terms of all the nitty-gritty stuff, when it actually comes out, I still don't have any clue. Some of this stuff came back from 2017, some of it was in 2018, and the last video that I watched was back in 2019. There still isn't a Steam page that I can find either, but from time to time they are pushing out videos on their YouTube channel. They have also said that they're only releasing it on PC so far, but again, that was back in 2017 when they said that, so maybe they have changed their mind. I did find it quite interesting though that they were looking to kind of push the kind of edges of technology with using 3D scanning technology to bring in real life objects, etc., which makes me wonder whether or not we'll see this actually ported over to Unreal 5 at some later date. But again, that's all just skepticism and my own personal thoughts. But either way, I'm super excited for this, and I will keep you up to date as soon as I know more. Anyway, until then, stay healthy, stay well, and I'll be back with more news and reviews soon.